We're on the road. Where transportation goes, community grows. Welcome to On the Road with the MTA. And welcome to another edition of On the Road with the MTA. I'm Jay Gibbons alongside with Stephanie K from the MTA. How's Stephanie today?
I am great. I am loving this weather. It feels like it's midsummer again.
Yes,
But it's
I know.
September.
That's Michigan. If you don't like it, just wait 10 minutes. It'll change.
You are so right. I was having a women's gathering. It was a bunko party. I had to host it.
What they
And
call
it's called bunko. It's just a dice game, but it's B-U-N-C-O, bunko.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's just kind of fun. And we take turns hosting. And all these women have husbands that help them work around the house. They have houses on the lake. They redecorate every 6 months. So they have all these gorgeous homes. And then there's me. So I thought, okay, I have to at least clean it. So I was so glad that we had the nice weather, because at the last minute, I started putting tables and chairs and tents outside. So we had a nice outside party.
Nice. Very nice.
It doubles your house when you go outside.
Oh, yeah, more than double, yeah.
I know. So we had a little porch party.
Yep.
It was great. But yeah, you meet people, and then in your life, they make a difference. I had met someone just recently. It was Harry and Deborah Bonner. They had called last minute because they were trying to get some transportation that we do here at MTA, and they're from Utah, but they've moved here to Flint. And they want to move. They moved here because they want to help Flint. Yeah. She was originally from here. Yep. Then they moved to Utah, and then she just moved back. And there's such an inspirational couple. He was a delight. He said he thought Flint was the best, wonderful place to live.
Isn't that awesome?
And I said, really? I said, we hear there's crime, there's a bad water, there's...
That's what
I know.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
all the
said,
negativity.
are you kidding me? Everywhere I look, there's parks, and people are so nice. He said, I just love living here. So they were supposed to be on today, and I'm not sure what the conflict was, but they were unable to be here. However, when they were asking for that transportation, it's because they were inviting some people from Utah to come here to show us how we can build our own gardens and have a garden for the whole community, which I thought was wonderful. And in the meantime, she told me about a movie that she's been making that she's in, and she showed me the trailer. I'm an actress before I got into radio.
That's right, you were.
So I was very interested, and I thought, oh my gosh, tell me more about this movie. And since they're not able to be here, we are so lucky to have the director of that movie, and his wife is actually a producer of this movie. We have Dalen Pollard on right now, and he is the director of a movie called Women in Christ. Thank you and welcome, and thank you for joining us, Dalen.
Thank you guys for having me.
So you are in Utah right now yourself, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, I know this movie is amazing because I saw the trailer, and we will post that on our page so they can see it. Now, how long has this movie been in the making for you?
So I'll give you the little backstory. A year ago, I was sitting in a church meeting, and a leader comes in, and he says there's youth that they feel embarrassed to be Christians.
What?
They feel embarrassed to go to church. That there's been a lot of negative media. And in Utah, one of the large churches here is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And recently, Hulu and Netflix had made TV shows bashing on that church.
Aww.
And some youth had watched it, and they were like, I don't want to be a member of any church. I don't know. It's not cool to be that. And he was sharing this with me, and my wife and I, we actually sold our house 2 years ago because we felt strongly that there needed to be better movies made. So we sold our house and used the funds to finance uplifting movies. And a year ago, I was like, this is the next movie. We should make a movie that people could walk out feeling really proud to be a disciple of Jesus Christ, no matter what your denomination is, no matter what church you go to. But we wanted people to feel like, oh, this is cool. So that was what started a year ago. We began filming in November. So it's been a very quick turnaround time for us. But we started seeking out people who had great stories what we looked for was people with great stories where they would follow the Spirit and act and bring about miracles in their lives and serve other people. And we found a book that was written by a company called Cedar Fort Publishing, and they had featured some phenomenal stories of women. And for some context, I'm a dad of 5 daughters.
Oh, wow.
I have 5 little girls. I don't have any boys.
Oh, my.
And I have 5 sisters, and I don't have any brothers.
Oh, my goodness.
And
so your toilet seat is always down, right, in your house?
That's right. It better be clean. But I wanted my daughters to feel empowered as they grow up. I want them to be proud to be a disciple. I want them to feel like they can do incredible things, and that it's miraculous the things that women of faith can do. And so we found some of the ladies that were featured in this book to interview and document and make a documentary with. We had partnered with the book publishing company, and I had submitted it to a distribution company as a concept called Purdy Distribution. And they said, you need some actress in there. You need someone with a big name, someone to be the host, someone to be the face of your company, someone that would have a good story. And they had made a list of actresses they knew in the industry. Some people we could fly out. We could fly to Hollywood. We could get them to kind of narrate. And that were Christian. That would be great. But I didn't want any of them. I wanted Deborah Bonner because my wife and I years ago heard the Bonner family music. We heard them sing. And they sing this one song called Child of God. It moved me to tears.
Aww.
And I said, I want Deborah Bonner. And they said, who's Deborah Bonner? No, you gotta have a big named actress. You gotta have someone big. And I said, no, I want Deborah. And she happened to be living in Utah, which was close to where I live. And we went over to her home. I called her number. She didn't know who I was. I said, I'm making a documentary. I want you to be the face of Women in Christ. And I remember she got emotional.
Aww.
And says, you want me, a black woman from Flint, to be the face of women throughout the world that follow Jesus. And she got emotional about it.
Sure.
It was really sweet. And we went over there and I explained how the project worked. And then she says, great, when do we film? I said, right now. And we filmed that night. And that had two guys come over. We filmed her that evening and she narrated our documentary and closed it. And she gave some of the most beautiful testimony. And I hope you guys have her on later. But she talked a lot about Flint and she grew up there. And I can answer more questions about the film and what happened. But that's how it started. And now we're playing in theaters. Currently, we're in Arizona. We have several theaters there. We're throughout Utah. We're in Idaho, and we have several in Canada. We're about to add Las Vegas and California, and we hope to add Flint very soon in the next few weeks.
Well, how can we do that? Because it's all about Flint, and Deborah's from Flint, and then she moved to Utah and moved back to Flint because she wanted to help, and her husband, Harry, loves Flint. So we need you in the Flint area. How do we get you here?
Yes, and that's a great question, and there's a way to make it happen for us. It is because this is financed by my wife selling her house and being the producer, and so there's no big multi-million-dollar budget that gets us into theaters necessarily. Just super like the way traditionally it would happen for films. The way we've done it is the website womeninchrist.com. You can see all the theaters near you, and you can pre-order your ticket. And as soon as we hit around 50 is our threshold. Once there's 50 theater tickets at a theater, our distribution company calls them and says, there's 50 people, at least 50 or more, that want to see it at your theater. That gets the theater in. They're like, yes, we want it. And they'll book us.
That's not a bad way to do it. We could do that. 50 people.
Oh, heck yeah.
I would go to. I wouldn't want to see it. And the Trillium is a nice restaurant. I mean, a nice theater around here with some restaurants out front.
Yep.
So that would be a great place to actually have it. 50 people. Gosh, I probably know 10 of my own friends would go and see it.
and that's what we see happen all the time. Like I had a woman call me 2 days ago from Yuma, Arizona, and I said we're in Mesa currently, and she says, well, "What does it take to get to Yuma?" I said 50 people. Within 6 hours, she had 93 pre-sales.
Oh my gosh! So how long after that were you able to get the movie?
And that was, and now their opening day is tomorrow.
Oh my gosh!
So this all happened just this week. That they'll show it tomorrow at 6:30, and it'll play there for a whole week.
Okay, so let's just say
and it has
after
multiple
this,
times a day.
When people hear this and they say, "Well, I want that movie about Flint and women in Christ to come to our area here in Flint," and they go to womeninchrist.com and they buy a ticket, and there's 50 people that buy tickets, how much time would pass between then and then you bringing the film right to Flint so we could have like a grand opening?
Usually within a week.
Really?
It can kind of depend, but we do have to. We got to mail our posters to the theater, and we got to mail them a physical copy of the movie. So enough time to be able to do that. Our Canadian theaters, they don't start till November because they're quite a bit further. But we as soon as that hits 50, we're in talks with them. We're booking it, we're planning it, and we're getting the posters sent over, and we're trying to launch as soon as we can.
So is the movie the same cost as what we go and see a movie at Trillium? Is there a certain cost for this? If we go on to womeninchrist.com, is there how much we pay for a ticket?
Yeah. The pre-order tickets, they're standard across all U.S. They're $15 a ticket. And what does it usually cost to see a movie there at the Trillium?
Well, it's usually, I think, I don't know, maybe I haven't been to the movie in so long, maybe $12, but if you get popcorn, it's $50.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Popcorn's $27.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so sometimes if it's a little bit more than a theater, sometimes what they'll do is they'll pay you back the difference once the theater's booked.
Oh.
And so you can actually get reimbursed. It kind of depends. If it's like quite a bit more, if it ends up only being $10 a ticket and you paid $15, they might pay the difference back. We've seen some theaters where they're even a little bit cheaper, and they'll send you 2 tickets for every pre-order ticket.
Oh, that's nice.
It's like, well, bring a friend.
So
we'll pay for you to bring a friend.
Sure. So, when you say pre-order, do they have to actually use their Visa card and pay the $15 and then hope you're here? And then if they don't have enough $50 to bring here, they give a refund?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100% guaranteed refund if it doesn't come. Or they say, would you like to pay it forward? We'll send someone to theaters that can afford it for you in one of our theaters we have. And we'll send you a link to watch it from home.
Oh, really? That's nice, too.
In-home viewing. That's nice.
Yeah, like streaming.
Yeah, so you get to do it at home viewing. There's something special about being in the theater with a group of people. That's what we want people to experience. Oh, man, I've sat in several theaters to hear people crying together and laughing together, and that they love the Lord. And it's something really neat. As we've done that, my wife and I, we did 8 theater showings last weekend, and we traveled and went, and it was really special. But in a lot of areas where they weren't able to hit the 50 threshold, we just emailed them and said, would you like a refund or do you want to pay it forward? And we'll send someone else for you and you can watch it from home.
Oh, that is so cool. That's very nice. Well, I have a group of about 12 ladies. I was telling Jay about that. I was hosting a party last night. It's called a bunko party, and there was 12 ladies. And I think they would all love to see this film. So, I mean, it feels like just a feel-good film. And they mentioned Flint so much. What could be better? It's a win-win.
Yes. And Deborah really brings Flint into it. So the film features really diverse stories. The first lady, it features 5 stories. The first lady's from England, and she has a dream about starving children in New Zealand. And she tells her husband, she wakes up from this dream and says, there's children starving in New Zealand. We need to feed them.
Aww.
And he says, what do you want to do? She says, I need us to use all our money and go find them. And so they go out, they start an organization from nothing called Feed the Need. And it's crazy in the film. She gets emotional. She cries and says, when I first recognized a boy that I saw in my dream, I just lost it emotionally. And so she says, I knew that God wanted me to find these children and feed them. And it's a phenomenal story. It's very touching. It makes you want to serve. She's the first woman. The second woman featured is a Nigerian princess. Her dad is one of the founding fathers of Nigeria. He's the chieftain there, and she's often called a princess. And it's an incredible story of her immigration to the United States and some of the difficult things she's had to go through. And she's lost her royal heritage and how to discover who she is as, a daughter of God as her true identity. So it's a great story. We have a woman that's from Utah that has a son with Down syndrome and spreads the joys and the good news of what it's like to have a child with special needs. And the next woman is from Brazil, and she started a clothing store from nothing. And it's very inspiring. She talks about making God part of your business, and you can't start a business without God. It resonates. I found it resonates a lot with the youth, like the young women, because they love fashion. And this Brazilian, woman, she's got a successful fashion company, and it resonates with business owners because they're like, oh yeah, I have felt that. You need God. You need to fast, and you need to pray to have God help you with your business. And then it ends with Deborah Bonner. She talks about Flint growing up there. She grew up at a time that they were busing the black communities into the white communities to integrate the schools. So she's a little bit older. And she says that she got in a lot of fights, and she would be fighting other kids every day. She'd be daily fighting people, defending people, and getting in fights. But she had a friend who would not fight. She said, why don't you defend yourself? Why don't you, we can beat these boys up. We can do what we need to. And her friend said, my friend wouldn't like that. And her friend takes her to a local Baptist church and said, this is my friend's house. And Deborah got converted to Christianity in that moment. And she promised the Lord that if he just gave her a voice and could sing as well as her friend did, and the way she heard the congregation sing gospel music, she would never fight again. And the Lord gave her a voice, and she's never fought with anyone again. She's the sweetest woman. And she teaches gospel music.
I can't wait to hear her sing because, Jay, just meeting her, when you meet her, you'll see why he wanted her for this film. She has just, like I said, inspiration about her, she and her husband. Rather you're religious, not religious at all, don't believe in God, I don't care what your background is. This movie is going to be a feel-good movie, and when you see some miracles that happen for just an average person, it's like, wow, good things can happen.
Yes.
Just positive thought, good things can happen. So I'm excited about this, and I'm going to go to womeninChrist.com, and I'm going to try to buy some tickets and tell my friends about this because I would love to have a movie right here in Flint, something good. Wouldn't that be positive?
It was very positive.
And then you can meet, I'm sure in person, Deborah and Harry herself, her husband.
Get their autographs.
Yeah.
Because they're famous people now.
No, okay, let me ask you this, Dalen. If we get the movie to come here, will you come watch it with us?
That's a great question. I will make an effort for you guys.
I'd love to show you Flint. There's a lot of wonderful things, like Harry said. There's a free The Sloan Museum is free for the children in Genesee County.
There's a lot of wonderful things here.
Yeah, the art museum is free. I think there's a sponsor that does that for you. So much to be shown here. So if you do get a chance to come, we'd love to show you around. So we'll see if it works.
I've been wanting to come ever since we made the documentary, and Deborah finishes the film really talking about Flint is going to be this light and this beacon for all the struggling cities around it.
Oh,
that there's hope,
yes.
that there's beauty, that she's going to teach the people. She's doing all kinds of things there. But one of them is like a traveling gospel ensemble and teaching people about Jesus, singing gospel music and transforming their lives. And I've been wanting to come, and I'll come with my camera, and I want to document and see the things she's doing. And so, yeah, we definitely want to come.
It would be worth your wait. It really would be worth your while, because there's a lot in Flint here that I think you'll be really amazed with.
Oh, and it must be working, because there's only 3 cities in Michigan that are growing right now: Detroit, Flint, and Grand Rapids.
Really? Is that true?
Yep.
Huh. My daughter
We're
lives
in
Grand
2024.
Rapids.
They had a positive growth.
Really? I'm
Yep.
so glad to hear that. We are really trying to make it
Oh, and
successful.
it's working. So
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, Dalen, thank you for your time. I know you need to go back and make some movies, but I am looking forward to having Harry and Deborah back on our podcast, and you can meet them in person, Jay.
Yep.
And hopefully we can meet them in person at this movie premiere. I'm really hoping that's going to be a success for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get on there. Yep. I'm going to definitely get on the womeninChrist.com, and I'll be watching for it. Well, Dalen, thank you so much. Thank your wife for her dedication, selling her house to make this happen. And I can't wait to meet you in person and see your movie, and we will connect very soon. Okay.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thank you, Dalen. And thank you for listening, guys. Listen every single week, because we have great things that are free in the community, that are helpful, that make us life a little bit better.
Absolutely.
And it's On the Road with the MTA, Stephanie K, and my friend Jay. Thank you for listening. Stay safe.
You've been listening to On the Road with the MTA. For more information on our services and community outreach, visit us online anytime at www.mtaflint.org. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The MTA, your community, your connection, your way.